I'm not gonna lie, I thought I had everything figured out. I had everything planned perfectly. I was finally on that long-awaited trip I'd been dreaming about for months. The tickets were booked, the Airbnb was locked down, I packed my bags with excitement and anticipation. But that all came to a screeching halt when I ended up needing a medical evacuation. Yeah, you heard me right. It was the kind of thing you think happens to other people. You know, those horror stories you read on travel blogs or hear about in the news, but you never think it'll happen to you. Let me paint the picture for you. I was in Bali, soaking in the sun, eating the best food, and just really letting myself relax. I felt like life was perfect. But then, one evening, I started feeling this sharp pain in my stomach. At first, I figured it was just something I ate. Maybe a little food poisoning. No big deal. But the pain didn't go away. In fact, it got worse. I remember sitting on the bed that night, shivering in the air conditioning, clutching my stomach, feeling completely helpless. That's when I knew something was seriously wrong. So I did what anyone would do. I called a doctor. The next few hours were a blur of rushed phone calls, frantic texts to friends and family, and somehow getting an emergency consultation with a local physician. Turns out I was dealing with a pretty severe issue that needed immediate attention. The doctor told me that I couldn't get the treatment I needed locally. I would have to be flown to Singapore to get the medical care that was necessary. And that's when it hit me, this wasn't just a bad stomach day. This was a real emergency. My heart raced as I thought, how am I going to get out of here? I was in a foreign country, unsure of how to navigate the whole situation. And with all the hospital bills, emergency transportation costs, and everything else, I was staring down a massive financial burden on top of all the stress. I thought I was going to lose it. But then it hit me. I had travel insurance. I didn't think I'd need it, but it was there, waiting for me when everything else felt like it was falling apart. Here's the thing, though. Not all travel insurance is created equal. Some only cover basic things like lost luggage or flight delays, and that's it. But this was a life or death situation, literally. I called my insurance company and, to my surprise, they immediately jumped into action. They didn't just help with the medical evacuation. They took care of all the logistics, got me on a flight to Singapore, and worked directly with the hospital to ensure I was taken care of from the second I landed. And in the end, I wasn't left holding a $30,000 bill for an emergency flight and medical care. Now, I'm not saying this to brag or anything, but I've been burned before by small print and insurance that didn't cover what I needed. The relief I felt when everything went smoothly this time was honestly overwhelming. The kicker? I found out about a specific travel insurance provider through a friend, Insure. And it wasn't just some generic coverage. They've got solid plans for exactly these kinds of situations where you need the peace of mind that your medical needs are covered no matter where you are. Look, I'm not trying to pitch you anything here. But seriously, if there's one piece of advice I could give you when traveling abroad, it's this. Don't skimp on your insurance. Get the right coverage. Trust me, the last thing you want is to be stuck in another country, needing urgent medical help without a safety net. I'll leave the link to Insure in the description, not because I'm sponsored, but because I genuinely believe this is one of those things you don't realize how much you need until you're in a situation where it's too late. So yeah, that's my story. And if you take one thing away from this, let it be that no matter how much you plan, things can go wrong, and it's always better to be prepared. Stay safe out there and take care of yourself.